Esta
Oh, what?
conferência será gravada agora.
Sorry. Sorry,
I want to
Alexandra.
some intro words. Again, hello to everyone. My name is Alexandra Yartseva. I work with the Computex through this partnership. We started last year, I believe, and so far we have many implementations in Brazil. Many of them Leonardo did himself, but here we will talk about the latest version of the software, which will be new, something will be slightly different and new, even for those of you who already worked with NFWare. Andre is our technical specialist. He's a pre-sale manager and he led several installations for you guys already. So he will walk you through the whole process and we will talk, we will let you know more about the product. And Luciana, I believe we can use the chat for any questions that may appear through the talk, and Andre can then answer all of them.
Okay,
and here
I'll
let you.
I'll help with the chat and I'll try to translate a little bit in the chat too.
Okay, thank you very much. My name Andrei. Can you call me Andrew? Also, if you more easy. I am pre-sale engineer in NFWare company, and today I prepared for you a training for installation of NFWare on physical servers. So, two words about us. We developed the fastest solution in CGNAT on the market. We most fastest because we use low-level programming code, and we have good hardware optimization for CGNAT solutions, and all our solution you can install on just on simple Intel servers with Intel CPU processors. So the main our feature is address translation and port translation. We called it NAT. Most two modes is not from 4 to 5 to 4, and from 6 to 4. So net 44 and net 64. Our solution present in one physical server. It can be one physical server. One moment. Sorry. Our solution present in one server, and next we installed HostOS operation system. Next, we're using Hypervisor. Now it can be only KVM. And next, we use our guest virtual machine with CGNAT solution. Second option, we also can be installed in data center and worked like virtualized solutions. But now, most our point is use physical server, standalone physical server. Next, some technical data sheet for our solution. We support 2 modes. As I said later, NET 44 and 64. We support a couple of routing protocols. It can be BGP, OSPF, and ISIS. It's more common protocols. Usually, our clients use BGP protocol. Also we can support logging by syslog, netflow, IPFix, and radius protocols. Our solution can work in 2 high availability modes. It can work like active standby mode and active mode. And now we use QM as preferred hypervisor. If we speak about throughput, we need to use special CPU and course configuration. For example, to use throughput, our maximum throughput 240 gigabits on one physical server, and for each throughput we need to use 60 vCores. So, for example, if we use only 28 vCores, we only get 160 gigabits per second. It's our throughput.
This is the solution we use in Brazil, 28 cores, 160 gigabits.
Yes, it's about throughput. It can be more on newer processors, or it can be more slowly if you use old processors. I mean, it's approximately characteristics for several processors.
Okay.
Next, some things for concurrent sessions. Concurrent sessions depend from your memory on your server. For example, to use maximum 256 million sessions, you need to install in server 384 gigabit of operation memory. So you need more memory to more sessions. It's just easy. So next, let's talk about CPU and core configuration. For example, on this slide, we use 14 cores CPU. And if we speak about architecture, we use CPU 1 and CPU 2. For in the system, it's naming CPU 0 and CPU 1. All our memory are linked to each CPU. Some slots to CPU 0, some slots to CPU 1. And now all you know is I think what Intel processors use Gipper trading technology. That technology help us to virtualize physical processor cores to two cores. So if we have 14 cores with Gipper trading technologies, we get 28 cores, and in dual CPU configuration, finally we get 56 cores. So we use term Gipper trading, and another term we use Cyber cores. Cyber cores, it's a course which virtualized to two cores. One physical course divided to two virtual cores. And our naming is in special order. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. It's physical cores. Next, 14, 15, 16, and so on. And Cyber cores naming after physical cores. 28, 29, 30, 31, and so on. It's naming in our CGNAT solution. So let's talk about hardware check before you installation CGNAT solution. At first, you need to check which CPU you used. CGNAT support Intel Haswell processors or newer, or E3, E5, V3 or newer. V4 is better. Also you need to check network interface. What you have. We can work on Intel 500, 700 series and Mellanox 5 generation series. Last one, if we want to use 100 gig for output. Next, if you don't know which processor you have, you can use special command in your operation system. I mean Linux operation system. Use this command lscpu, and in output you can show this output. You need to find this flag avx2. If you have this, your processor can work with our solution. So next, let's talk about installation. HostOS is our first step in CGNAT installation process. You need to install on bare metal server several operation system. You can check from them. First, Oracle Linux 8, CentOS 7, CentOS 8. We recommend to use Oracle Linux 8. This distributive you can download from official website. It's for free. It's a preferred option now. Any question? No?
No,
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay. Next, after we install HostOS operation system, we need to install Qmvp user. So for these options, you need to install two packages, libvirt and libvirt install. And to install this option, you need to connect your server to internet and configure internet and routing to get internet access. When you can use this command in command line to install these packages, these two packages. Next, next we move to install our CGNAT solution. You need to get a special image file, Qmvp format. It's a simple KVM format. You can get it from our website. And next step, you need to get our installation script. We can give you, if you ask for us, for them. Installation script is just folder with some scripts and packages. Two web things, Qmvp image and installation script, you need to move a special folder in your host OS. Special folder var lib libvirt images. And you can just use these commands in your CLI interface. And that result you need to get just one file and one folder. Next, we need to run this script when it was downloaded before. Just run configure sh. Next, we have interface of script installation. Firstly, we need interpath where image of CGNAT places. It's a default folder if you use all recommendation before. Lab, lib, libvirt images, CGNAT 4.1.4 Qmvp 4.1.4. It's our actual CGNAT version.
Andrei, we have a question.
Yes.
Does the Qmvp file need to have execution permission or not?
I think if you will be used SCP utility to copy that and you use root user, it will be already have need rights.
Okay, understood.
I think it will be 755 rights, and it will be okay. Next, we need to define our course for HostOS. HostOS, it's Oracle Linux, which we installed on our bare metal server. I split our installation on 3 scenarios. It can be best, good, and normal scenarios. Firstly, we look to best scenario. We have 2 CPU and many cores. So we can define 2 cores, 2 host OS on each CPU. And in this example, we use core 0 and core 28 on first CPU, and 13 core and 42 core on second CPU. It's best option. If you have many cores, you need to use this option. Second scenario. If you have not so more cores, you can define only 1 core on each CPU. Core 0, core 8 on 2 CPU. Next, normal option. If you have only 1 CPU and few cores, you also define only 1 core for host OS processes. Any question? No? Okay.
Oh, go ahead. It's interesting.
Yes. Next, it was some theory for next step. We continue to use our running configuration script. So now we need to enter these core numbers for host OS. So as you remember, we choose 0, 28, 14, and 42. Okay. Now we enter these scores in our configuration script. Okay. Next step. We need to define our course for guest VM. Guest VM, it's our CGNAT solution. So we also have 3 scenarios. If you have many cores and no problem with cores, you can define all other cores which don't used in host OS reservation for CPU 0 and for CPU 1. Okay. CPU 0 and CPU 1 also called NUMA 0 and NUMA 1. So next option. Option as I called good. Partial separated core. If you have no many cores, you can use 1 sibling core. From 1 physical core. We can use it in CPU 0 and CPU 1. The main things what you need, use symmetric configuration. CPU 0 and CPU 1 need have to symmetric configuration for best performance. If you have only one CPU, it's same thing. You can separate 1 physical core, which consists from core 0 and core 8, and use this separated core numbered 8 for guest VM. And normal scenario, we can full share core. What it means? We use core 0 for host OS and for guest VM. Okay, any questions? Okay, let's continue. So now we need to enter with cores which we choose for guest VM in our installation script. Our installation script has some recommendation. By default, it proposes to you use other cores which you don't use for host OS. Which means what it used our best scenario by default. It used this scenario. As you can see in this list, we don't see another cores. We don't see core 0, core 28, and other. We don't see these two. So if you use best scenario, you can just copy this command to here and all. It's just help from configuration script, and it's best scenario. Next point from configuration script. Yes.
For example, in case of a hardware upgrade or a bandwidth change, can we change this configuration after installed, or just
Yes,
have to install?
Yes. It's okay to use to run this configuration script one more time. It's okay. Okay.
Excellent.
Yes. Next, we just need to enter guest VM name. It can be any. By default, we use NFWare CGNAT. Next point, we need to define how many memory we define to our virtual machine. In this example, we define 25 gigabit per CPU. And our configuration script help us which memory we can define for virtual machine. And you need to remember what some part of memory we need to remain for host OS. Just don't overwrite this recommendation and all will be okay. Same thing for CPU 1, CPU no, CPU 0, CPU 1, same thing. And you need to use symmetric configuration, as I said before. Next step, we need to bind our network adapters to virtual machine. Next step, we need to enter bridge name. Bridge interface is used for management interface, and it's placed to separate VRF. Next, our configuration script is prepare configuration for VM machine, and after that you need to reboot the server. Next, after server rebooted, we need to enter CGNAT solution interface. How we can do it? Use this command, virtual console NFWare vCGNAT. Next, you'll be opened this window named connected to domain NFWare CGNAT. Use these credentials as default, admin, and next we enter in our solution. You can use syscollect commands. Firstly, we need to configure management interface. Set IP address, IP default gateway, and also we need to enable CCH service. Next, what we need, install license file. How we can do it? Firstly, we need to show host ID number. We can use this command, show license host ID from CGNAT CLI. It looks like this. Next, you need to send this file to us, and next we will send you this file with license. That file we need to place in special folder, home admin on guest VM. For that task, you can use CP client, and for example, you can use a command like this. It's just copy remote copy from one server to CGNAT server. And next step, you need to activate license file. You need to use this command, license file, and so on. Next, we need to set some special configuration settings. I split these configurations for three parts. First part, subscriber settings, over settings, and vCourse allocations. First part, subscriber settings. Yes.
Mr. Andrei, it's
yes.
Just a technical. I know the answer, but it's better to hear from you. This CGNAT is deterministical or BPA or both?
It can use several options, and deterministic is one from options.
You can use for one block deterministic, for other block PBA, for example.
Yes, yes. You can use one pool for deterministic, one pool port block allocation, one can be just static net,
yes,
and so on. Yes.
Yes. I was right. Okay.
Yes. Next, subscriber options. First of main options, it's number of subscriptions. That number you need to take from your license. Just enter that number and all. Second options, number of sessions and number of mappings. From version 4.1.4, you don't need to worry about this. CGNAT solution will be calculate it automatically. Over settings, CPU memory channels. By default, it's 4. But if you use a powerful processor, you need to see CPU specification on Intel website. It can be 2, 4, 6, 8. You need to know which memory channels on your processor. Next options, RX Q. By default, it's 1000, and it's normal default number. But if you use 100 gig solution, you need to use 2K. So next settings, the main part of our solution. It's needed for get best performance to our solution. It's named the course allocation. Some theoric part. One more. In CGNAT solution, we have several type of tasks for which CPU is worked. One type of task is named CMD. It's tasks from control plane, VMOS, CLI, SNMP, LACP, SSH, and so on. Next type of task, RxTX. It's our data plane, interface interaction, packet delivery, and balancing to next type of tasks named work. Work and log, it's main part of our NAT solution. NAT working here on work tasks. So we need to split our allocated vCourse, which we use on previous our steps. So first 2 cores we use for CMD tasks. Next 8 cores we use for RxTX tasks. And our course we use all for work course. So in this configuration, we use 2 cores for CMD, 8 cores for RxTX, and 16 cores for work and log. Any question? It's main
Andrei,
part. Yes.
Probably this is the reason. This core separation tasks is the reason why NFWare is so powerful, because you can allocate core separated. Am I right?
Yes. You totally right.
If I'm not sure, you cannot do something similar in any other solution. Yes.
Yes. The main point of this configuration, separate a course if you can. Type of tasks need to work on several cores. don't use same core for CMD and work, for example. Don't use it. Separate if you can.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
This is what happened, for example, in MikroTik, that the use of CPUs are not regular, as you show in NFWare. When you use the other solution, we don't have the virtual balance of the cores. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's the reason why we need to use QEM. QEM is the best course isolation process. If we speak about, for example, VMware, we can bind with course so good as we can in QEM Hyperuser.
Okay, I got you.
Yes. So finally, if we have that configuration in our system, we need to enter these commands: platform set nb cmd2, platform set nb rxtx8, and so on. Next, for example, if we use our good scenario, as you remember, it was one moment. I'm speaking about this scenario, partial shared course. Example. In this example, we use this core for CMD tasks. And it's hyper-trading core or Sidon core. What it means? We use one physical core, but it's physical core divided to two virtual core, and we use one virtual core from physical core. In this configuration, we use one core for CMD, 4 core for RX2X, and 10 cores for work and log tasks. So, how we allocate, how we need to know how many cores we need to allocate for each web tasks. We have best practices for that. Common recommendation: use symmetric configuration for 2 CPU. Isolate core if you can, as I told before. Next, from HostOS CMD tasks recommendation, allocate 2 cores for HostOS and 2 core for CMD tasks, or 1 core for HostOS and 1 core for CMD tasks for small installations. Next, for RxTX task recommendation, use in quantity of the cores for allocated. What I mean, use 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on cores I mean, it must be divided on 2. And second option is used for 100 gig installation. If you use Mellanox network card, it must be 2 NX power. I mean, it need be 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. Next, for work tasks recommendation, we need to allocate from 2 to 4 times more recurse than for RxTX. And it must be even quantity of recurse. So, as we if we look for our examples, we use this recommendation: 2 cores for CMD tasks. As you can see, we don't have first course. Why we don't have first course? Because we have already allocated that for our Linux operation system, 2 cores in previous step. So 2 cores to CMD tasks, 8 cores for RxTX, and 16 cores for work and log. We take all our recommendation in this example, and it will give us more performance. So overall configuration settings will be looked like this. Firstly, as you remember, we need to set max subscribers from license. Next, CPU channels. Default it's 4. We use 6. Next, we use RxTX buffer options, 2K for this solution. It means that we use Mellanox solution 100 gig. And
you just need to change if you are using Mellanox NX. If you're using Intel, for example, you don't need to type this command.
Yes. If you use Intel network adapters, you don't need to type this command. It's default 1K.
Okay, and how much? We have another question here. How much bandwidth this kind of configuration is?
It can be for 24 NICs, as I know.
24 NICs?
Yes. It depends which NICs you use, which model.
Oh, presuming Mellanox 100 gigabits NICs.
Yes. If you use Mellanox, it can be only 4 network cards, 4 cards, and each card 2 cards, and each card have 2 ports.
200 gigabits, for example.
Yes. If you use Mellanox, you can run our CGNAT on 2 network cards. It will be 4 ports, but only 2 ports is used, because other 2 ports is used for standby, for redundancy. So if you use 2 network cards Mellanox with 2 ports on each, its overall output will be 200 gigabit, not 400.
Okay, no, true. Oh, true. Because they will work in redundancy.
Yes.
Oh, and I cannot sum the traffic using two boards. For example, 100 independent from other 100 gigabits traffic.
Yes. Traffic will be not used second port in same time. It can be work on only one port. One port will be active and second port will be standby. It's network driver. Just work. So.
Okay, so for example, for 200 gigabits, makes more sense to use two different machines, two different hardwares. Makes more sense. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody want, Miss Alessandra? Do you want to talk? Alexandra?
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Andrew said. For Mellanox, it's 200 gigabits per second, and if you use Intel's cards, for example, 40G or 10G, it can be up to 240 gigabits per second. So this is just because the 100G cards, that's 200 gigabits per second is the maximum possible on those cards. But in other network cards configuration, it can be up to 240. Just wanted to add this.
What I understood is if you use two Mellanox in the same machine, you can use 100 gigabits only. Am I correct?
No. You can make it up to 200 gigabits per second if you use two 100G Mellanox cards.
Okay, because Mellanox card has two models, one with 100 gigabit interface, and the other one with two 100 gigabit interfaces. I'm supposing that I'm using two with two NICs in each board. Okay, so four slots for different NICs. Using these four different NICs, I can sum the bandwidth from 100 to 200. 200 entering and 200 going out, band traffic. Okay.
Okay, but one 100 gig network card can give us only 100 gigs, and it's not depend how many ports we have on them. It can be one port or two port. Overall output will be only 100 gig, not 200.
Okay, understood now. Okay.
Yes. So overall configuration after we enter these commands, we can check using show platform user command. In this example, we use 50K subscribers, 6 MEM channels, 2K buffers, 2 cores CMD, 8 cores RxTX, and 16 cores work and log. After finish configuration, we need to reboot our virtual machine. Use just command reboot. And next step, we need to in settings. We need to configure our NAT solution. So the simple configuration consists data plane interface configuration. I mean IP addresses, NAT inside option. Second, routing protocol configuration can be dynamic routing protocols, like OSP, BGP, ISIS, or just static configuration. And finally, we need to set NAT configurations, pool subscribers rules, and NAT rules. It's just Cisco-like configuration, and for more information, you can use our documentation. It's many options for configuration behavior, net behavior, and NAT pools, modes. You need to choose them from them. Also, you can set NAT timers to increase your sessions, and so on. Next, I would like to speak about network design. So first options, what we used is active standby. It means what one server works and another server is just ready to work. It's standby configuration. So two servers need to be same NAT configuration. I mean, it's need to have same IP addresses, same same pools, same IP addresses in NAT pools. I mean, so if first server breaks, second server come up and work. So from routing perspective, we need to use some options to choose right network path. We can use BGP prepend options. So by default, traffic will go in only to one server because this path to second server will be more bad before we use BGP prepend options. And second options, it's active mode. We use several CGNAT servers, and it can be configured in different options. For example, one server can use pool NAT pool 1, second 2, and third different also different pool. So from our switches we use BGP balancing also, and traffic can choose 1, 2 of 3 server. So because we use different NAT pools, our incoming traffic is know which server is need to use it. So questions? Okay.
Please.
Yes.
I have saw age A configuration system in NFWare. Age A means high availability.
Yes.
Is there any documentation about this configuration?
No, in documentation, unfortunately, we don't have because all our high availability is realized from routing protocols.
Okay.
So in our solution, we don't have any specification options for high availability.
Okay.
In end of the year, we will be install new feature which names session synchronization, and it will be special configuration in CGNAT. And now we don't use any special configuration for high availability.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But Andrei, you were telling
Yes.
us that in the future we will be your own HE protocol or something like.
Yes. It's if we look in this scenario, if one server goes down, all sessions in this server is dropped, because we don't have session synchronization through these two servers.
Okay, you're preparing for the next release or something in some time.
Yes.
A kind of session synchronization between two or more servers. Is that correct?
Yes. I think it will be a new version CGNAT. For example,
Andrei, we have
yes.
we have another question in the chat. It's in English. You can read for us, please.
Okay.
It's possible to change from activity standby or activity during production. Oh, it makes sense, the question. Mr. Carlos Camargo.
Is it English?
Yeah, is it possible to change from active standby configuration to active configuration in production during while the system is in production?
Yes, you can. You can, if you use active standby configuration, it means what you use same NAT configuration. And firstly, you need to split NAT pools to not overwrite address space. For example, one public addresses need to be in pool 1 on one server, and next public addresses need to be in pool 2 in second server, like this. And next, yes, you can reconfigure your BGP configuration options, like BGP prepend. Just don't use BGP prepend, and it will be using BGP balancing, and yes, you will be migrate from active standby to active configuration.
I can see a very important difference in doing active because you can sum the bandwidth. For example, in one or two server, you don't have any commercial advantage. But when you have more than two servers, we can sum the bandwidth between, for example, if you have 60% of the bandwidth passing in the two, you can drop or you can lose the third one. Yes, and the full sessions will not be affected. You know.
Yes.
So for big implementations, active makes much more sense.
Yes, sure. Our common options in service providers, we use active installations, and we use 4, 6, and so on servers.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
I also wanted to add to this. What you're saying is absolutely right. So we use usually active standby for small installations, and if we have customers with large throughput, it makes more sense to use active N+1, as we call it. You can actually add a new server to this configuration, and you you will be, you will have an immediate scaling of the whole throughput. For example, we have an installation, there is like 800 gigabits per second, I believe. And there are 5 servers in this configuration. One is is being a standby machine, and 4 being active. And those 5 servers processes like 800 gigabits per second. And this is just a smaller hardware footprint. So you need fewer servers to process large amount of traffic. And this is when ActiveN+1 high availability is really efficient and when it works.
Yes, excellent. I think you answered Mr. Carlos' question. He told us, I made a question because if I need to repair or take off the network some server now, I can do it in any time. I just move the pools to another servers, and operations is doing without any problem, without any stop. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Ok, great. Carlos, exatamente o que tu falou, né? Se tu tem 3 ou mais servidores, quer tirar um para mexer nele, né? Só move os pools para os outros e a operação segue normalmente. Acho que é isso aí. Okay, Andrei, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, summary. Let's move in step by step one more time. Firstly, we need to install Linux OS. It can be Oracle Linux and its recommended version. Next, we need to install Qmvp Revisor. Next, we need run configuration script. In configuration script, we need to bind hostOS vCourse. Next, guest VM vCourse. Next, bind memory and bind network adapters. Next step, we need initial configuration. It's configuration for management interface and CCH service. Next, we need install license. Next, we need platform settings. And next, we're going for NAT configuration. And it's finished for CGNAT installation. So, it's end. Any question?
Pessoal, alguma pergunta sobre a instalação e a configuração do NFWare? Esse aqui é um treinamento mais de instalação, tá? Me parece ser relativamente simples, né? Até algumas questões que eu mesmo não sabia, que é a questão ali dos cores, né? Porque não sou eu que faço, nem eu nem a Ana fazemos as instalações aqui. Quem as faz é o Rogério, que está nos assistindo, e o Leonardo, que é o meu colega ali que está com a voz e dados Zoom também junto. Agora vocês sabem tanto quanto nós, ou até mais. Né? Se vocês tiverem alguma questão de configuração, também de features que vocês queiram perguntar, fiquem à vontade. Andrei and Alexandra is just telling that this was installation NFWare course training, and if they have any other configuration or features questions, the time is right now. Today, feel free to ask, even in Portuguese or in English, no matter. And you are ready to respond, okay?
Yes, absolutely, of course.
Pessoal, tiverem alguma dúvida, alguma coisa, fiquem à vontade. They are asking to us if you have any demo license for for clients. Is it possible, Miss Alexandra? É um pouco difícil por conta do hardware, né, Silvio? Mas tem um hardware compatível, dá para eles conseguem gerar assim. Eu não tô. I'm not sure about this new version. I have a 3.8 or 3.7. I cannot remember. Demo license that you gave me, Miss Alexandra.
Yes, we can provide a trial license and a trial image for new customers to see how it works. In the new version, which is 4.2, we provide a trial image which is limited by 1 gigabit per second. It has all the features, but it's just limited in terms of performance. We can give it to anyone who wants it. However, if there is a request to test performance specifically, we can discuss it with Computec and prepare a special license for this customer. But in general, it goes limited by 1 gigabit per second.
Ok, understood. Ela disse que é possível fazer qualquer tipo de licença, né? Só que elas vão ficar sempre limitadas a 1 GB, basta vocês pedirem para nós. Inclusive, dá para testar se a máquina é compatível e tudo mais, dá para fazer. Aqui, na Computec, a gente levou uns 8 meses, assim, até chegar numa máquina legal, assim, tá? Hoje a gente usa, para as implementações até 100 GB, a gente usa um E5 de 20 cores, né? Um V4, biprocessado, né? Então são 10 mais 10, e a gente usa para as implementações acima de 100 GB, né? A gente usa um 2680, que são 14 cores, daí fica 28 núcleos, né? Então é o que a gente tem usado aqui e tem funcionado até hoje aí tranquilamente. A gente tem uma implementação de 60 GB no Rio, tem uma de 100 GB na Bahia, tem umas 10 de 40 GB, inclusive o Rogério está nos assistindo aqui, ele supervisiona no Mato Grosso. Tem uma ou duas, acho que umas 2 de 10 GB. E tem algumas de 25, 30, mas são poucas, porque não faz muito sentido comprar. Hoje faz mais sentido comprar 40, 80, que são 2 de 40, ou ir direto para 100. Então, esse é o que faz mais sentido aqui para a gente. Tá, pessoal? Mais alguma pergunta ali? Miss Alexandra, talk us about some, for example, people ask us about the difference between NFWare from A10, from Houston, from Juniper, from Huawei. What you can say about this difference? Silvio, o licenciamento é perpétuo. Uma vez na máquina, a máquina é para sempre. Tu só vai precisar pagar o suporte se tu quiser os releases novos e tal no segundo ano em diante.
So our technical advantage over all these companies is performance. How much traffic we can process on just simple x86 hardware. And this is where we demonstrate the best results. So we can process more traffic on less hardware than any of other competitors that exist on the market. So this is the first very important advantage that we have. The second one, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the second one is scalability. So because NFWare is a software solution, we can expand the license that our customers has to a more throughput and more subscribers using the same hardware or just adding some more NICs. So the scalability and flexibility that we provide is another advantage that we have. And also so after this training, all of us can install and configure NFWare solution. It's not that hard that we saw it in some of other competitive solutions. So this is the third advantage that we have. It's more easy and more quicker to install and start to use Carrier Grid NAT from NFWare. And finally, because of the performance and because of the hardware utilization, it's more cost-effective solution because you need to use x86 platform and the NFWare software, and it uses less hardware resources than others. So this is what makes us special and what makes us different and better than other products on the market.
Alexandra, what can you say about hairpinning and ALG? Because many people in Brazil, many ISPs are using, for example, MikroTik solutions or Linux-made solution or other amateur solutions, you know, and they have gamers users problems. It's very usual here in Brazil. What can you say about ALG and hairpinning?
Andrew, can you please turn on the feed slide that you have? I see this is specification.
Yes, thank you.
First of all, we provide the most demanding CGNAT features and the latest CGNAT features that must be in a carrier-grade NAT solution, specifically designed as a carrier-grade NAT solution. We do provide hairpinning and different LGS protocols. The most useful, yeah, this one. The protocols that are the most demanding. This is the FTP, DNS, PPTP, IPsec, SIP, and RTSP. Those LGS are supported and available for our customers. As for gaming and other questionable use cases, from our experience, the most many modern applications already designed to work with carrier-grade NAT, so they don't need specific LGs just to work with CGNAT. But this is true that in some countries they report that gamers, Xbox, and other things doesn't work. Honestly, we have not heard about this problem with our solution. This is because we provide all those features to our customers. And we don't believe that this problem exists nowadays. However, if something happened, we are here to support you and your customers. But with this LGs and with our solution, it works with gamers too. Did I answer your question?
Yes. O que ela está dizendo é que basicamente o NFWare é uma solução carrier grid, né, mais focado em operadoras, uma solução também focada para reduzir o suporte, né, e que ela nunca ouviu falar no software deles problemas com gamers e esse tipo de coisa que é muito comum em outras soluções. Andrei, could you explain about hairpinning and ALG DNS solution? Can you give us how can I say overview about it?
Yes. We know about this problem with gaming problem, and when two gamers placed in one LAN segment and used IP addresses from same IP network, it can be problem, but hairpinning is our feature which we use in normal situation and normal configuration. It's not some specific. It can be enabled from one command, and many our customers use it and have no any problems. We have one case from one Great Britain, our client. We have problem with gamers too, but we don't enabled hairpinning options and after it will be was been enabled, problem have been solved. So from ALG protocols is the same. We support most popular protocols like FTP, DNS, IPsec, SIP, and so on.
Ok. Ok, o que ele disse basicamente é que os protocolos mais comuns, assim, como o SIP, DNS, me ajuda aí, Rogério, FTP, são todos suportados pela NFWare. E o que acontece muito nos gamers é que quando os dois estão atrás do CGNAT, né, o pacote vai para um, né, quando os dois jogadores estão jogando entre si e os dois estão atrás do CGNAT, o pacote vai em direção a um e quando volta, como não tem hairpin, né, que é tipo um mapeamento na saída, o CGNAT não sabe para quem entregar o pacote de volta, e aí o jogo não funciona ou funciona muito mal. Isso é o que acontece, por exemplo, nos microtics e em outros Linux que não tem esse tipo de configuração. E o ALG também, né, para DNS também é muito importante, porque ele faz um tratamento na ida e na volta, né, um gateway separado, UDP, na ida e na volta. Eu acho que o Rogério, que está mais acostumado com essa configuração, pode me ajudar melhor aí. Nisso aí, Rogério, fica à vontade se tu quiser falar.
Bom dia, pessoal. Good morning, Team NFWare. A respeito dessas configurações de gamers, não tem nenhum problema. Todos esses gamers mais usados, eles trabalham normalmente. VPN Microsoft, PPP também conecta normalmente. Vocês vão ter uma questão só VPN e IPsec, que elas não passam em NAT transversal, então essas daí não existe ALG em nenhuma solução. Aí é recomendado colocar um IP público direto para o usuário. Agora, todas as outras conexões, elas trabalham perfeitamente. E a questão aí de dois usuários dentro da rede, fazendo comunicação direta, que acontece muito em outras soluções, como em MikroTik, no NFWare, o usuário se conecta pelas portas públicas, digamos assim. A técnica de hairpin, ela faz com que a conexão do usuário seja encadeada nas conexões externas, evitando que tenha um acesso direto de um usuário para o outro, né? Você não vai ter problema aí de descoberta de rede.
Não tem interação entre os usuários dentro da rede, né?
Isso, não tem. Eles não ficam com interação.
E aí eu posso jogar, por exemplo, com alguém do meu próprio provedor, né? Na cidade, sem ter
Isso,
problema.
até uma conferência, né? Por exemplo, você está em um serviço de conferência, é comum, que nem essa aqui do Go Meeting, ele identificar que dois usuários da mesma rede e tentar se comunicar diretamente. E aí cai o serviço de voz em outras soluções.
Sim.
No NFWare se conecta normalmente. Acontece muito isso em cidades que muitas pessoas acessam web aulas, né?
Uhum. O mesmo provedor,
e aí,
né?
Em provedores. E no NFWare, esse problema ele não existe. É bastante transparente, a conexão é bem tranquila. Pelo tempo que a gente já está usando a solução aqui, praticamente é zero suporte.
Eu não me lembro de nenhum ticket aberto de suporte de nenhum cliente nosso aí, desse tipo de coisa que o pessoal reclama, de dar a tela preta no Netflix, ou não abrir um determinado site, ou o gamer não conseguir falar um com o outro. A gente não tem nenhum relato aqui. A gente teve alguns relatos falsos já, mas nenhum relato verdadeiro até hoje.
Os falsos positivos, né?
Os falsos positivos a gente já teve alguns, né? Pessoal, alguma pergunta aí? Fiquem à vontade. Pode abrir o microfone também, faz em português aí que a gente traduz ou responde conforme o que vocês quiserem saber aí. Fiquem à vontade. pergunta como instalador, como cliente, como tudo. Eu já passei alguma noção de preços ali. A gente é muito competitivo, principalmente por conta da performance do NFWare em relação aos outros, né? Até o Silvio colocou um exemplo aqui de um concorrente. Nós somos muito competitivos em soluções de 40 GB para cima, né? Então, 10 GB o pessoal consegue fazer ainda com MikroTik, né? Então não dá para ganhar do MikroTik, apesar de a gente já ter algumas implementações de 10, 20, 30 GB, mas 40 GB e 100 GB nós somos muito competitivos e melhores, né, do que qualquer outra caixa do mercado, não tem nem comparação. A solução custo-benefício, assim, preço, performance e funções, né, funcionalidades, tenho certeza que a gente está um passo à frente aí dos demais. Alexander and Andre just asked if anybody has any other question. If not, we can end. Okay.
Yes.
Let me enjoy this time to thank you very much for your time and your excellent explanations and how to use and configure. And if anybody needs some trial license or price your quotation or install by yourself to other guys, we are developing some commission politics and something like this. So you can talk to me or Miss Anna to conduct you to your customers as best as we can, ok? Pessoal, se quiserem falar qualquer coisa, preços, estamos à disposição, eu, a Ana, pessoal aqui, e aproveitar para agradecer o pessoal da NFWare, especially Mr. Andre, thank you very much for your time. Miss Alessandra, thank you very much for your time. I believe it goes very very well, and we enjoyed your company a lot this afternoon in Russia and this morning here. Just one more question to you. What's your relation with the Telefónica in Spain? Do you have any implementation there, something? Because I saw on your website, and sounds to me, it's a commercial question, but if we're not protected to any contract or something, you can what you can say about it?
We know Telefonica very well. We do not have any commercial installations with them yet. However, Telefonica is one of our early investors, which believed in NFWare technology and invested in us back in 2016, I believe. So we have this relationship, but haven't had a chance to actually do the commercial deployment yet.
Well, what's your biggest implementation in Russia or in other country? What's your biggest one? Andre, during the presentation, told about 800 gigabits. Do you have more than this?
Yes, the biggest implementation is around 3 terabits per second. This is the company they call it Beeline. This is the Netherlands-based company, but it has a global coverage in several countries. So one of our deployments for them is countrywide. We have several cities, several sites, and each site processes quite a large number of quite a large throughputs per site. So yes, we have there.
You told 3 terabits in Netherlands. 3 terabits per second in Netherlands.
3 terabits, not in Netherlands, in the Asia country.
Oh, in Asia. I'm sorry.
But this company is their headquarters is Netherlands. That's why.
Oh, okay. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time, obrigado a todo mundo aí pela manhã de vocês. Um abraço a todos. Pietro, Carlos, Silvio, Rogério, Telecom, que eu não sei quem é. Um abração a todos aí, ao Carlos também, que já saiu, provavelmente teve que sair. E muito obrigado aí a todos. I'm gonna stop the recording right now, okay?